Chapter 14, Episode 13. All empires follow the same path. There is a great leader. There is usually an ideology, usually a monotheistic religion that praises the home team, honors obedience and bravery. This isn't always true. Sometimes there is more than one god. The illusion is that the bigger an empire gets, the greater it gets. An empire is a monster. It is an insatiable monster. It feeds on invasion, plunder, rape, slavery, and murder. No empire has ever been different. All empires crash when the monster starts to starve from the result of being insatiable. They go insane and destroy all in their way and eat themselves alive. Not always. Sometimes it gets smashed from a bigger empire. Sally was quite fascinated and intrigued by Billy's lesson on the politics of disaster and the way wealth moved. She wished she gave a shit. She could see that Billy did. He was obsessive in his research. He wanted to know what they were doing. Like Blussah, Billy wondered if the echoing waves of news after each kill were a small part, or maybe even a large part, of the objective. His research on the targets had never made him wonder if he had a problem with killing the targets. They had 2 targets in Toronto. Billy wanted to have one. He wanted it to be an auto accident. He had gained control of the car from one of the targets. The system was harder to crack than it had been when he learned how to do it in his training. He had to borrow some calculating power from a bunch of computers to go through all the code, but eventually found a way in. His nasty little crawling code boring around had done most of the work. He had to disable the backup security system to allow for his invasion, and he had to delay the reaction time of the human override. Their target was another scumbag. Not in the media, in the details. Above the law multi-billionaire. He had 14 children and 14 girlfriends in 12 different cities. Not a crime, and of no interest to the company. He was a government advisor that was paid large sums to say nothing against chemical companies, weapons companies, major shareholder in processed food products, corn syrup. That one stumped Billy until he did some research. He was a public advocate of Monsanto, endorsed Roundup because if nothing could live in the soil but food, they would have more food for the starving people in Africa. Billy remembered something about that. Maybe that was in India. There were a bunch of other things. Fossil fuels. What? Just wondering out loud. Sally and Billy were never given reasons. They were given targets. That's all they needed to know. Everything else could be worked out. They stole a car to follow their hit. They could have rented one, but Billy wanted to steal a car, keep in shape. It was up to Billy to make the call. Send the signal. They didn't find a good opportunity the first day. On the second day, the target was traveling north on a 4-lane highway without a divide. It was almost dark when Billy spotted a cement truck coming the other direction. There was no need to increase the car's speed. The combined impact would be 200 kilometers per hour. That would do it. This is it. I'm with you. Billy navigated the Mercedes sports car suddenly over to the other side of the road and straight into the cement truck. The driver of the truck had time to slam on the brakes, but not enough time to swerve, which Billy really didn't want to happen. Collateral damage was acceptable, not injuring truck drivers. He looked back to see if the truck had come to a stop. It took a few more seconds. I wonder how easy it is to make a cement truck tip. I'm glad the car wasn't red. Be glad we weren't hit head-on at highway speed. Okay. Sally decided not to picture the math. They turned east at the next side road, then south back to Toronto to leave the car where they had found it. It was time to find a cafe with blueberry pie.